Hi everybody, I'm Chef Susie with LearnToCook.com. Today I'm going to be making the very delicate classic French macaroon, which is this little sandwich version of the cookie, and it's basically egg whites mixed together and then almond flour and powdered sugar folded in. And then it's going to be piped and set in the oven at 325 for about 10 minutes. I'm just making a basic macaroon, and these can be made in a variety of flavors and colors. You can change it up and do pistachio instead of the almond flour and add a little bit of green, or even add a little bit of pink or yellow or orange to the mix for a different color. And with the orange, you could add just a little bit of extract to give it some flavor. So knowing that, let's get started. I'm going to be using my stand mixer because I'm mixing my egg whites, which I have a little bit of cream of tartar in with my egg whites. And I'm going to be mixing half of my sugar. Then I'm going to bring this to a soft peak and add the rest of the sugar, and that's the granulated sugar. So I'm going to be putting this on a medium-high speed on my mixer. You don't want to go high all the way because you'll end up forcing some of the air out that you're putting in, and then it's going to take a real long time for these to mix. Now that my egg whites have come to a nice soft peak, I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle in the rest of the sugar. And then I'm going to fold my almond flour and powdered sugar in by hand. So I've sifted them together in the bowl here, and you can buy almond flour or you can make your own. I made my own using just some slivered diamond almonds, which I love the Diamond Nut brand. It's always consistent, always a great product. And I just powdered these in my spice grinder. So keep in mind that you can make it on your own if you can't find it. And I'm just going to put half of my mixture in at a time. And I'm just gently folding because I don't want to press the air out of these egg whites. That's what makes the cookie so delicate. And then I'm going to be piping them out on a sheet pan, which I have parchment paper on. If you don't have parchment paper, you can easily use some spray or grease your pan with some butter. Or you can use a Silpat if you happen to have a Silpat. So I'm just gently folding this together. Just being mindful that there's some air in there and I don't want to press it out. This is not something you want to do on the machine at all. You want to do it by hand so you have some control. And this is just going to be a basic macaroon, and we can fill it with a little ganache. It's very nice. So you see these macaroons in French pastry stores in France in the window and little boxes all lined up. And they're gaining in popularity here in the US in the last years, seeing them around a lot more. Now that our mix is incorporated, I'm going to be putting it into my pastry bag, which I have just a plain tube in here. If you don't have a pastry bag, you can easily just spoon the cookies out, but you're going to get a little bit neater look with the pastry bag. You'll have a little bit more control, and then you're going to get that perfect round look. Or you can even make a bag of your own using some wax paper or parchment paper, and then you can just cut off the end. So I've got my mixture in my bag. And then I'm just going to carefully pipe some rounds onto my tray. And I'm going to be careful not to get a little lip on the top. And you can make these a larger size or a smaller size, whichever you like. But just be mindful not to put them too close together because they're going to spread a little bit. And then even in the baking, they're going to spread a little bit more. So I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. And when I put the macaroons in the oven, I'm going to turn it down to 325. That's going to help them dry, and they're going to be in there for about 10 minutes. So after you're finished piping, you just want to gently tap your tray, and this is going to help with any cracking that could happen with these macaroons. So let's go ahead and put them in the oven. Now that the macaroons have been baked in the oven, they kind of dried out a little bit. They turned a little bit of a golden brown color. Now I'm going to fill them. These in particular, I'm just going to fill with a little ganache filling, but you can fill them with buttercream icing. You can do a wide variety of flavors. So I've turned a few of them upside down, and I'm just going to pipe my room temperature ganache, which is semi-solid. You don't want it to be melted because it's just going to run out. And you definitely can't pipe it when it's cold. So this is semi-solid at room temperature. And these cookies can also be stored at room temperature too. So I'm just creating a sandwich. And I'm trying to match the lid up with the size of the cookie if I can. So the cookies turned out nice and smooth on top with no cracking. Then I'm going to finish these off by dusting them with a little bit of cocoa powder just to give it a little bit of a finished look. I've got the Dutch cocoa powder, which is a little bit darker than the natural cocoa powder, and it's going to show up a little bit better. So I'm just being careful just to put a little bit, and then I'm just going to put them on my plate. And this is a very delicate French macaroon. Bon appetit, and thanks for joining me today. Bye.
Well, thanks for joining us today at learntocook.com. Be sure to comment and to subscribe. Also visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a great day, and thank you.